Hey guys, welcome to another Mini Z video. I'm trying to catch up with things that have arrived in the last few weeks. Now, I've shown this Honda NSX 2007 JGTC or Super GT car, where it's originally a 94mm rear mount car, and I tried a number of things and it just continually traction rolled on my track because my track's a narrow one, so I have to turn very sharply in the corners and I drive aggressively and then lift off to transfer the weight to the front to make the rear end loose and give the front end grip to make the corners. And once I gave up on keeping it as a 94, I dremeled out a little bit at the back and put it onto a 98mm chassis, and that fixed the issue. So it makes it drive vastly better on a standard Mini Z chassis than just having it left as a 94mm one. You can see that there's a bit of a gap in front of the rear wheel now because I've changed it from 94mm to 98, but it drives so much better. And let's face it, when you're driving the cars you tend to see them more from above because they're so low to the ground, so you don't really notice it, but you certainly notice how it drives fantastically on the track now. Alright, behind that car I've got an Epson 2005 version. So prior to the 2005 versions, Kyosho was using offsets of 0 narrow at the front and 0 wide at the rear, but from 2005 onwards they made the cars wider to use +2 narrow at the front and +2 wide at the rear. So I've intentionally bought the later ones just because the wider ones, I know from driving my 2007 one that I modified, that the wider ones being +2 will drive the same. So the Epson one doesn't look as nice in my view as the one I'm currently driving, but because it's the right chassis width, being +2, and because I didn't have it, I decided I'd get one anyway. And also, you can't always tell with Mini Zs how they look in pictures. Sometimes they really surprise you when they turn up and they just look totally mad, and you think, gee, if I'd known that I would have bought one earlier. But whilst we're talking about how good they look in real life, check out this green one, guys. What an absolute stunner. It's going to be either a love it or hate it type car, I think, because once they put the air inlet, which I assume is to cool the engine, that fin poking up out of the rear window, I think a lot of people weren't that fond of how it looked. But this is still standard 94mm, so I bought some of these because I want to make another one that's 98, and I think I'll do it to the green one. And the reason I'll do it to the green one is partly because it looks good, but also partly because I bought an extra one, so it doesn't matter if I modify one of them. I'll have this one as a spare. And also, now that I've got the 2005 version down here, have a look at this one, guys. It's a 2007 version, and they differ a little bit in the advertising, and so they're both +2. But I intentionally figured the 2005 is a better one to modify because it has a lot of just plain white right where I need to Dremel out, whereas the 2007, some of the advertising type things will get Dremeled away. But I do think the 2007 looks a bit better overall. But anyway, I only have one of those, so I'm unlikely to be modifying that one with a Dremel. And since I did modify my 2007 Arta, this orange one, in that way, I decided I'd just get another one and leave it unmodified. Yeah, I do like these cars. They're not the prettiest cars, but they are Hondas, and I do like Hondas. So that means we've now got a spare of the modified orange, and I have a green one to potentially modify and a spare of it, and then the blue one's on its own, no spare. I didn't like it enough to get a spare of it. And then the 2007, which I think I'll just leave as is because I think it's the pick. So other things have turned up as well. I'll just make some space. So it took me a long time, but I finally came across the Siemens BMW M3 GTR body, which means I finally have all, 6 of them I think, that have racing colours on them. There's also a plain white one, but I'm not going to bother with the plain white one because I think the ones with racing designs look better. So finally, it's taken me a long time. I have been keeping an eye out for this one for a long time, and when I saw that Mossy had one, I was like, oh, I want one of those too. Which is how I ended up with quite a few of my Mini Z. So Mossy, it's because of you that I bought so many. But now I'll just have to put it onto a chassis, just a display chassis, and choose appropriate wheels. I'll probably go with white Kyoshos like I have on most of them, because surprisingly they look really good on white. I did try them on, I've got one of them on black because one of them's actually an old chassis, an RC chassis, and I do think most of the schemes look better with white wheels. I did get quite a few green cars arrive in the last few weeks, so it wouldn't be complete without showing another green one, would it? I'll just get the BMW out of the way. Now look at this one, guys. This is one that I also looked at a long time ago and wasn't sure about, but I did then come to like it more. And then the problem was it got to the point where it just seemed it was hard to find one for a reasonable price. So eventually an opportunity came up when I thought, well, the price isn't as bad as it has been, so I'll get one. And part of the reason too was because I'm driving a McLaren 12C on the track and I'm really liking how it drives, so I thought I'll try to get this colour. And then after I came across this one, I came across that custom one that I showed in a previous video, which I think is probably even better than this one. But anyway, it doesn't hurt to have a few spare bodies of the ones I actually like to drive. Now, that's quite a few cars, isn't it? You look there. It's quite a green theme too. But as I used to say in the Warner Brothers cartoons, that's not all, folks. So what we have here is yet another Honda HSV 010. It's a limited edition Ray Brigg, one of 2,000 pieces, so I have several of these and I may be mad enough to drive one on the track. We'll see. Do like how it looks. It's got a chrome roof. Just a little bit of chrome across the roof. And some chrome on the side and on the bonnet. And you're not going to believe this if you've been watching my videos. You're just going to go, can't believe it. Yes, another one of the Kaihin, Keihin, Keihin, say it however you want. It does get said differently in different parts of the world. And this one's a limited edition of one of 1,500 pieces, so you can blame me for having quite a few of them, I guess. And this one's a very, very nice looking one with blended blue chrome of different blues on the way down until it meets silver chrome. Should focus on keeping the camera in the right place. Meets some silver chrome at the bottom. I have so many of these chrome blue ones now, and one of them came in an unofficial case. It didn't come in the limited edition case, which suggests someone had it out of the case for whatever reason. Maybe they had it displayed outside of the case and then didn't realise when they put it back in that it was in the wrong case. I'm not sure. But as I mentioned in a previous video, I would expect that a collector would value that less than one that's in the official case. So that one that came in an unofficial case may end up being one that I drive on the track if I'm crazy enough to drive one of these, because it will certainly look stunning with its different types of chrome showing. Now I'll just give a little peek over the back. There's some boxes there of something else that's arrived, but they won't be in this video. You'll have to wait for another video to see what they are. There's a clue on top of two of the boxes. You might be able to make it out. Or you might recognise the style of boxes. But with some delays on surface mail being reported, some of my things have been taking a bit longer to arrive, and some of them are still on the way. So what's happening at the moment is a lot of things are arriving quite close together, even though they were purchased a long time ago, which means I haven't got time to really get through them all. But don't worry, I've got plans for them. It's just a matter of whether I find the time before I find another hobby. And speaking of finding another hobby, as I was trying to get some people interested in Mini Zs, one of those people started getting me interested in Tiny Whoop drones, and I bought my first drone today, an FPV gear, but it'll be a couple of weeks before it arrives. And then of course I'll be using every swear word I can imagine, trying to learn how to fly it in the house. Thanks for watching, guys. Mini Z out.